it's hard to tell when this starts.
The Gondorians can be saved, but only if they leave Mordor. This is your war, not theirs.
Right, so where are we up to? Hello, everybody who's joining. Welcome, everyone. I'll be joined today with another guest host, Mr. Mangler. How you doing, boy?
See what the Witch King has wrought.
Doing alright. My spine's kind of being weird.
Why?
I don't know. I'm hoping I can pop my back or do something to help that, because that's quite concerning.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too particularly healthy.
Oh yeah, but I'm laying down, so hopefully it should. Actually, let me lay upright.
Hey, Red Dusk. What's going on? Mangler's got black issues, and I'm playing Shadow of War.
Oh, there we go. Alright, that's a little better. Okay. Oh. So I finally tried out some Cold War.
Oh, yeah. How'd you like it?
It was pretty decent. I really liked that I got enough resources to upgrade the perks after the match. I was already able to make like tier 2 tombstone. I'm kind of excited about that. They made a lot of quality of life improvements to a lot of the perks. I'm not sure I understand how the weapon upgrade system is, but I actually don't mind it. I don't mind the currency system. I think it was a little bit better. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting you. It's just kind of really overwhelming because there's a lot to learn, you know. Same problem you have with like every zombies game you start. There's always like so much to learn.
Your ability to track the Nazgul, another gift from Galadriel.
A gift.
So we're back to assaulting the orc.
Yes, we are back to making their life a little bit miserable. But they're happy because they're about to join our ranks.
Oh yes. No, this every time I watch this game, this really made me want to watch or play Lord of the Rings Conquest.
That is a very fun game. If you like Star Wars Battlefront, you would like that. It's basically that.
I know. That was what I was told as a kid. It's just like, you like Star Wars Battlefront? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you like Lord of the Rings? I'm like, Lord of the Rings is kind of cool. I'm like, alright, so imagine the Lord of the Rings Star Wars Battlefront. I'm like, bitch, give me the Archer.
Yeah, the Archer's kind of busted in that game.
You mean fire arrows are busted?
I mean, you could literally just press R1 or whatever the Xbox trigger is, and it shoots the blue ones that split off in the free, and they just automatically hone.
Oh, I didn't even use that. I just used the fire arrow because the fire arrow on certain high elevation maps would just allow you to camp religiously, because you would just shoot people off the side of bridges. Because the fire arrow had, like, I want to say it had, well, there weren't really, like, I don't think there were anything equivalent to, like, grenades in the game, but there might have been small bombs. The fire arrow was, like, had the explosive splash damage of, like, any sort of small bomb. So you could just fire it from across the map and just knock someone off a position immediately.
Yeah, so the Archer was extremely broken because you, unless you were firing manually, there was no reason for you to ever miss. And then you had a choice between the homing, the free-splitting homing shots, the fire arrows, or the poison arrows, and the poison arrows are just a shot.
Dude, I forgot about the poison arrows as soon as you brought up the homing arrows. I was like, wait, there's another broken arrow? Oh.
Like, the worst class you can be is basically mage, because they can't do anything and they can't take any kind of hit.
I remember them being decent because they could block arrows.
And that's all they can do. So a lot of people, when they play the game, they like to shit on the Scout, but I'm going to tell you this right now. The Scout is the only thing that can one-shot human-level bosses, like human-sized bosses. And I literally mean one-shot them with the backstab.
I mainly just played the Warrior and the Archer.
This ring is not their prize. It is
The Scout was fun, but the Scout took some skill to know what you were doing with them. If you didn't know how to use the Scout was not fun.
I don't remember anything but the Archer, to be honest. Because the Archer was fucking addictive. It was fun to use him, too. Oh. Kyle, what is your favorite car in Forza Horizon?
Ah, yes, I didn't answer that.
We should stay together.
I think I remember it being there. It would have to be, I'm going to say the Nissan Skyline R34? Or was it the 32? It was one of them. Wasn't the fastest, but it was definitely something close to my heart. Hey, Big
Them
Demon.
demons inside. Oh. Hmm. How far are you into this game right now?
I want to say
The ring wraiths cannot.
40%,
They always
but
come back.
I'm taking a few
You don't
missions
stop
like
fighting.
steps at a time. Because
Ever.
basically you can follow most stories into like completion. So it's not one of those things where it's like you have to do a certain amount of missions and then it like moves on for all the stories. It's basically like you start a story, you can basically like finish it.
Yes. Are we doing Kyle and that other guy? That other guy has a name.
That other guy is Mangler, the Bane of God of War.
I'm doing alright. Kyle seems to be doing fine.
Yeah, I'm doing quite well.
His kill count seems to be high.
Are we talking in game or live?
I was gonna say, I think it was both.
Actually, I'm quite curious because we were speaking about this. Oh, hang on, there's another question. I like how they had the Mouth of Sauron as one of the heroes, even though he was in a deleted scene. Yeah, it was actually really cool because he's not only in the deleted scene, he's also in the Return of the King game. He's the boss you fight at the very start of the Black Gate mission.
Isn't the Mouth of Sauron already, like... Isn't he in the Return of the King anyway?
Not
Doesn't he show up near the end? Or am I thinking of something else?
Not the base movie. He's in the extended edition.
Wait, then what?
To destroy
Wait, so what shows up to fight the battle with like the Easterners and the fleet of like giant elephants? That the guy that's riding the ring wraiths.
So, are you asking who's assaulting Gondor, or are you asking who's coming to save Gondor?
Assaulting Gondor, because he's riding the ring wraiths.
The assault force is the Haradrim, the Corsairs from Umbar, and the Orcs of Mordor.
Yes. I remember.
The Mouth of Sauron is not a part of them.
Wait, so then who's the guy riding the ring wraiths then?
The Witch King himself went there.
Yes. I don't know the difference between the Witch King and the Mouth of Sauron.
So
I have
the
a
Witch King
very basic understanding of Lord of the Rings.
So the Witch King of Angmar is the leader of the Nazgul, while the Mouth of Sauron is a dark Numenorean. He's basically Aragorn, except he like worships Sauron.
Oh, so he's not like an avatar for Sauron. He's literally a LARPer.
Not necessarily. Think of him more of a mouthpiece. Think of him more like Sauron tells him something and he relays that information.
So he's a LARPer. So he's a messenger, I guess.
Basically.
Okay.
Think of him basically as like an emissary, if anything.
So whenever someone told me what the Mouth of Sauron was, I didn't want to assume he'd just be a messenger because that'd be kind of cheesy because the name is kind of on the nose. Like, oh, he's the Mouth of Sauron. Obviously, you speak as his mouth would, bringing messages, and it's like...
Not too far off of how he is put in the book.
I mean, if you're going to be on the nose, that's pretty on the nose. The Witch King got no mouth, the Mouth of Sauron got a mouth, that's the difference. I don't remember what the Mouth of Sauron actually looked like. I was thinking of the Witch King event. If the Witch King, so the Witch King leads the Nazgul. Is Nazgul the ones that ride the ring wraiths? Or am I thinking of something else?
The Nazgul are the ring wraiths, they do ride the fell beasts.
Okay, so he's just the king of the Nazgul, the king of the ring wraithers.
Yeah, he leads them.
Alright, so I wasn't that far off.
He's also the one who stabs Frodo on top of Weathertop.
Yes. Is this a boss battle?
It is.
Wait a minute. Wait, I don't know enough about Lord of the Rings.
So people got really fucking anal and butthurt when this game gave name to the Nazgul. And it's just like, it's artistic freedom for fuck's sake. Like, a lot of the events in these games take place in the wrong time. Just enjoy the game for what it is.
Wait, why would they have a problem with naming members of a faction that don't have names?
Because they're basically... So it's one of those things where they basically got the shits that they named some of the ring wraiths after some of the kings of men, which it's implied to be. But I think the one that they got really fucking angry over was Isildur, because Isildur really shouldn't have been a ring wraith, but there's not a whole lot they can work with.
Well, the ring wraiths things that people choose to be willingly, or they corrupted into them?
They're corrupted because they got rings of power by Sauron.
Oh, that's right. The ring wraiths are... Oh, I completely forgot about the fact that they become ring wraiths because they get the rings. Yeah, I can understand why then people might have an issue with it if there was a king that they thought was pretty based, was a great character, and then later on they're like, wait a minute, this guy's a ring wraith?
So you say pretty great. I would use that term a little bit more loosely to describe Isildur. He has good speeds. The problem is that he doesn't go up.
We're talking about an average viewer on the internet. I don't know. I don't know how credible their positions are. I don't actually know anything about Isildur. I'm just saying, like, as an example, I don't know if Isildur was the one that people were pissed off about.
For the most part, absolutely.
Did you guys buy the DLC map in the Lord of the Rings Conquest? I bought no DLC for games back then.
How did Saruman die in the book? Saruman dies similarly how he dies in the movie, except in the wrong location and time. So he still dies to Grima, but this is after he invades the Shire.
I just ended up watching one of the, I gotta say, what I thought was one of the best Doom comics, like a read of one of the best Doom comics ever, that kind of just made me really pissed off at the Doom character. Have you kept up with any of the Doom comics recently? Or, Doctor Doom?
No, I'm not.
I was gonna say they did this story where they're basically expanding on something that he did in Who Killed the Wingless Dragon? You have a question?
The Wingless Dragon, I'm assuming he's talking about Glaurung. If he's talking about Glaurung, it would be Turambar.
Our voice sounds different, Manger? Sounds a little bit... Hang on. How about now? Anyone gonna see John Wick? I will see John Wick 4.
I will be seeing that tomorrow, so if anyone has seen it, keep your trap shut.
If it's possible to see it on a Sunday, I'll go see it. Alright, I got work tomorrow. Good night. Later, Red Dust.
Good night, Red Dust. Thanks for stopping by.
So the Doctor Doom thing was like, it was this story following the events of some stuff with the Intelligentsia, and Doctor Doom basically is, well, it's not him, it's a story involving him, but like, there's this plan to basically harness like huge sources of energy on the planet being conducted by various like scientists like Reed Richards and Stark Tech, and they decided to build a black hole on the moon. Why? Or near the moon. Yeah, so that's exactly what they say. That it's like, man, it sounds like something kind of StarCraft. And you're with us on the program, because you're basically seeing this through the viewing of like a news show, right? And they bring Dr. Doom on because he's calling them live from Latveria, and he's just like, so how do you think this program's going to fare? It's like, terrible. It's going to... And I'm like, I also agree with this decision. I don't give a fuck how well tested it is. It's a fucking black hole. By the way, Mingler, I heard Chick-fil-A doesn't serve gay people. Is that true? From what I can tell, at my Chick-fil-A, there wasn't like a problem with it. But then again, I never ran into a situation where that happened. They definitely have lobbied against gay people when it comes to the stuff that they've done financially.
Why? Money's money. Gay people have to eat too.
Not when you hate certain groups of people. No amount of money can change that. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. No amount of money in the wrong hands.
Well, I thought money's money. It shouldn't matter who wants the food.
Yeah, you would think that, but it depends on who runs the company. If the person who runs the company is like, money is money, and money is money, then they don't give a fuck, but usually it's someone else. Spoiler, he kills people. I haven't actually seen it. And so what happens is basically, it's a long, convoluted set of circumstances, but basically Dr. Doom ends up getting blamed for this basically a giant nuclear missile launch that is launched in Latveria from a coup d'etat inside his country, and the nuclear missile arsenal is sent to the base of the moon, killing thousands of people, and then within the hour, like, every single armed mercenary around the globe shows up to arrest Dr. Doom. And there's some weird stuff with, like, Kang the Conqueror, but basically they figure out within a year that, like, the black hole that's opening up is not actually a black hole. It's a wormhole into another universe. A universe where Doom basically saved the entire world and the rest of the universe by committing his resources to helping other people's lives. And he basically convinced every single intergalactic empire to stop fighting and to disarm all of their resources, to the point where he literally has, like, all of the Infinity Stones, the Cosmic Cubes, the Ultimate Nullifiers and things in a case where he's just put them away as, like, a Hall of Fame where they're just not to be used.
Where's the twist? Because there's no way they're going to let it stand that Dr. Doom sounds this nice of a person.
What happens, this is the greatest thing, is that Dr. Doom, when he goes in there to stop the black hole before they know it's a wormhole, basically Reed Richards goes up there and says, it's like, alright, we're doing a systems check, just want to make sure everything's okay. And it's like, alright, what'd you come up here with? Nothing, I just wanted to wish you good luck. And because he goes up there to wish him good luck, because Dr. Doom is so fucking petty, he literally redoes all the calculations on the machine because he doesn't believe that Reed Richards went in there to do it. And because he does the calculations again, the machine fails and gets sent through the wormhole along with Adam Brashear, who is Blue Marvel. And he ends up in this universe, and he has all of this explained to him by the Doctor Doom of that world. And he finds out that one is married with a wife and kids, and he takes him to his house and he's like, what happened to our Doom castle, our Doom Vault? It's like, I tore it down, I had no need for it. And he basically explains to him, like, dude, I understand all the accomplishments with you, Dom, but imagine what you could do if you just stopped putting yourself in the picture and stopped thinking about, like, your ego for a minute. Imagine what you could think of or what you could become. And he starts to convince Victor, and then he starts talking about, man, once you tear away all the fear, you start realizing you're just a man in a suit with his finger guns. And then after about 5 seconds of that, Doom just kind of snaps. Because he points out that he's like, okay, really, like, realistically, you could cure your face if you wanted to. You have the technology. Why haven't you done it? It's because you want to hold humanity, accountable for what they wronged you with.
Oh, there's no harsher truth than the truth said by ourselves.
Dude, and then eventually Doom has enough of it. The funny thing is Doom is convinced for a large portion of it. He's like, Doom, I need you to do something. Like, what? I need you to admit to me that you're wrong.
Oh, no.
I need you to admit when you're wrong. This is such a hard story to watch, because then what happens at the end is even worse. After he tells him and insults the finger guns thing, Doom picks up the Ultimate Nullifier and activates it and wipes out that entire universe and kills every single person in the entire timeline. And then he comes back with the Ultimate Nullifier, except for saving for Adam Bashir. Kang the Conqueror shows up and is like, oh, I was interested to see what happened there. And he's just like, I have no need for a world like that. I am not good, and I never will be good. And I'm just like, bro, that made me lose a lot of respect for Doom. Like, fuck, I knew he was a villain, but that was, like, Look, Thanos killed the entire universe to simp, but Doom killed the entire universe to cope. With getting, like, holy fuck. That was just hard to watch. It was so sad because there were so many good moments where he was talking with his with his other self, and he's just like, think of what we could accomplish. There's also some really, like, gruesome moments. I think he even says that, like, he writes himself a letter after he conquers, like, a neighboring country because of what he does to one of his second-in-commands, that he's like, I cannot be allowed to do this anymore. I will commit no evils, not because I believe that I need to be right, but because not because I need to believe that it must be good, but it's because it's the most beneficial thing for the people of the earth. And then, like, he walks that back at the end of the comic. He's like, I am not good. I will never be good. I was a fool to believe otherwise. I'm like, no, Doom.
So, to me, all that sounds like is they needed a way to make Doom come back to being evil, and that is the best way they thought of doing it.
So the problem is that how it's presented, because the Doom tells him, like, you understand that, like, part of your issue is that you're angry at the world, but that anger is going to soften with time. So the implications being that
You'll get over it.
You'll get over it, yeah. But the problem is that when he wipes them away with Ultimate Nullifier, I don't know if you know this, but when the Ultimate Nullifier is activated, you basically not only erase the person from existence, you erase their entire history. There's no record of that person ever existing ever again. You can't, like, usually can't bring them back, and there's no memory of them or even any evidence of their informational basis anywhere. So if you were to ultimate nullify, like, Reed Richards, not only would Reed Richards' body, soul, and mind be wiped out, no information about Reed Richards would exist in the world or in the universe, and no one would even remember that he ever existed. Nor would there be any record of his existence within the flow of time. Like, that's what it means to be the ultimate nullifier. I normally don't read Marvel, but the comic sounds great. Well, it kind of reminded me of the opposite version of Infamous Iron Man, which I still believe to this day is the best Doom comic. It's Doom post Secret Wars 2015, when his face is healed by Reed Richards, and he decides to take up the mantle of Iron Man after he realizes that, hey, like, I've had everything I needed in life, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, during Secret Wars, I literally became God, but then I realized I was still inferior to Reed Richards. So I decided to put my work, my effort, and my powers to something good. Because if I've been spending my life doing things that others would describe as bad, what could I have possibly accomplished if I contributed myself to the opposite spectrum? And it's like the most amazing story of Doom. But you figure out in, like, this fan of, like, a comic line, he basically ends up getting, like, every single superpowered villain within, like, a given area. I think he gets, like, most of their contacts, most of his supervillain contacts in prison within, like, a week, because of how many connections he has, because of how powerful he is. It's a really good story. Probably better than the one I just told you. Because the one I just told you wasn't necessarily bad, but that ending kind of pissed me off a little bit. Because it gives you so much hope, and then Doom is like, no, fuck this, I'm gonna kill everybody. Everybody else. Right, what do we have here? Is that a doggo?
If it wasn't for the way that comic ended, that sounds like it'd be a brilliant way to start, like, to have, like, a Marvel movie.
It was actually kind of funny, because there's a lot of... Dude, there's a conversation that he has with Kang the Conqueror that's, like, the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. They're literally just insulting each other for the entire, like, 5 minutes, and then they just, like, laugh it out. They're just like, I'll kill you, Kang. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. It's like, if I recall correctly, he says something to the effect of, like, oh, we're gonna go with our plan. It's like, what do you mean our plan? There is no R. It's like, there's only Doom. Then he's just like, you know, you're just, I can't remember exactly what he says. It's something, one of them accuses the other one of being, like, lonely. Oh, yeah. I believe he's like, Kang is basically explaining, like, in the future, because Kang the Conqueror basically jumps around different timelines. That's his shtick. He basically says, hey, eventually I'm going to inherit the world that you would build. You're going to save the world in some capacity. Kang didn't realize he was referring to the Doctor Doom in the timeline on the other side of the wormhole. So the way Kang sees it is that he's like, I'm going to help you build this utopia, and then I'm going to take it away from you, so that I can conquer it, obviously. But, like, you need to be able to build it for me to conquer it in the first place. So I'm going to help you get there. I'm helping you so that I can help myself, basically. And Doom is just like, oh, so, like, do you not have anything better to do? Like, are you just lonely? And he's just like, I'm not lonely. You're the one who's lonely. And it's like, I'm a misanthrope. Of course.
So did you, because Mother asked earlier, did you end up seeing the scan he posted?
Let me check.
It'll be in POC.
Which POC scan?
It's
The one involving the blood realm?
Yes.
What of demonic energies concentrated within the blood realm. This attracted the demon hordes. If you go into the blood realm, the purer the demonic energy and the more powerful the demons. Yeah. I mean, I was more interested in the Virgil coat thing, because that's just more blatant confirmation of stuff we already had. For power, he allows darkness to spread freely, turning his coat into pitch black, which gives him the demonic power he desires. Yes. Nothing like blatant confirmation of characters just self-actualizing their own weapons and clothing into reality.
And you know what's the best part? We didn't even have to fucking ask for it.
No, we didn't even ask for it. We need to get, like, probably 10 more of those. At least. To be fair, we already have more than enough of them. I'll still say to this day, the best example of a self-actualization feat is Nero's existence erasure in DMC4 when he erases Sanctus from existence. When I read that for the first time, I was like, this is the most blatant example of subjective reality I've ever seen. Because he verbatim says, let this piece of shit do the world a favor and disappear from existence. That was my thought as I ran at him with Yamato. And then I believe something to the effect of, like, when he kills Sanctus later, he says the Vizier let out like a screech as he died a true demon's death at last. And I'm like, bro, the text could not be more abundantly clear. He life wiped that man. I probably need to keep it down low. This is a flying spoiler.
Yeah, if that came from the actual POC stream, I am willing to bet that with the international release, we'll get most of the stuff that's already there.
Yeah, because that's not even like a fucking, like an actual, like, really big lore statement. That's just a casual weapon description.
The crowd screams for you. I will make you scream for them.
Oh, did Tim send you a picture of that one card? That, what's it called? The one card that's the draw spell.
No.
The new one.
No, I can't say that he has.
I'll DM it to you. Oh, wait. This cord's being trash.
I'll destroy you!
Ah, that is so easily exploitable.
Well, that's the mirror formation of the 10 sacred treasures.
Yeah.
What the? Did I just get disconnected?
I believe so.
Oh. That's kind of sad. Shouldn't you be streaming?
I am.
You're streaming on Discord chat?
No, I'm streaming, and I'm talking to Mangler.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but it's a pretty good card. I think you can use it in Cyber Dragons. Assuming you have 5s. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Maybe, I don't know if it would gel too well with Cyber Dragons.
Oh, hang on. Is Hertz a 5? Or is he below 5?
Hers is 2 or 3.
Oh, wait, Naster's the 1 as well. Wait, Core's not a 5 either. Oh no. Actually, no, it would be decent technically. Because you could get, you do Galaxy Knight and Cyber Dragon regular.
Yeah, but that's if you're running both archetypes. If you're running it pure, you're kind of shit out of luck. Which is why I'm waiting for him to introduce the field spell Clockwork Knight.
What does that do?
So it basically turns every monster on the field into machines, and every machine monster on the field, your monster gets, I think, like 100 or 500 attack, like extra attack.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I really want that for my Ancient Gears as well.
Was Smarter, Parker, Reed, or Stark? I believe Reed. There's usually direct confirmations in the Marvel Comics lineup, but there's actually a really funny one in the books of Korvac when Tony Stark gets the power of Galactus, and he gives everyone the intelligence of Tony Stark, and everyone basically remarks about the change, and then Reed Richards just generally says, like, I think I just became dumber. Like, he's the only one that actually, like, visibly has, like, a direct offensive reaction to it. Like, everyone else has, like, a genuine reaction of, like, intellectual gain, but then Reed Richards is like, I think I've lost a few IQ points. Wait.
He despised the greed of men, the predictability of the dwarfs. But most of all, he hated the elves, who wished to embalm the world. Middle-earth will change, he told me. It will bend to my will. It will not be fixed in place, and it will not be restored to the vision of its makers. It will become something new.
He seems to have vanished. Hello? I guess he's trying to find his way back.
Mingler, your mic's muted. Unmute it.
He wishes to remake the world in his own
Hey,
image.
it seems I've
His
been left
image will
alone.
be wiped away from Middle-earth when all is done.
I'm all alone. Yesterday it was me having the internet issues. Now today it seems like it's Mingler.
The Dark Lord gives me strength. These ghouls do not have a chance.
And
Oh, he's returned to us.
I was aware my mic was muted. I just was checking the stream. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Evil 4 is downloaded. Wanna play it, but I've got work soon.
Resident Evil 4 is downloaded. I want to play it, but I got work to do. RIP.
I mean, I suspect it to be good, but I guess only time will tell.
And be cleansed.
Yes. I see a lot of that has been going on in the server about the potential RE4 remake's quality. I have no skin in the game because, as you know, I don't play Resident Evil games. So, it's all the same to me whether it succeeds or fails.
Yeah, for the everything I've seen so far looks pretty good. I think the only thing that I'm kind of miffed about is that they changed Wesker's voice actor. Well,
Oh yeah, I saw that. I really like the Marvel vs. Capcom one. I don't know if that's the original.
I believe it is, but the biggest problem is the guy who's doing his voice did him in Dead by Daylight, but what I can't seem to understand is why does he sound so much different? Like, did they just tell him that they didn't want him to do the iconic Wesker voice that everyone else has been imitating, so just use your regular?
I don't know where you play Darksiders. I play other games besides Darksiders. Yeah. But well, did he just not sound the way he did in Dead by Daylight?
No, because Dead by Daylight, he sounds like at least close enough to D.T. Douglas's version of Wesker.
Weird.
Archaeus.
It turns out well, at least.
I'm sure the game is perfectly fine.
Darksiders, what do you mean you play every game except Darksiders? You guys talking about...
I see you play Darksiders. What do you mean you play every game except Darksiders? I just said I play other games aside from Darksiders. It doesn't mean I don't play Darksiders. It just means I play other things in addition to Darksiders. You've apparently only seen the Darksiders streams. Guess talking about Wesker VA. We were talking about RE. and we started talking about Whiskers VA.
I never seen you play other games.
I've never seen you play other games. Demon, I feel like that's a lie. There's no way that you haven't seen me stream other games. Like, I wasn't streaming Darksiders until very recently in the last couple months. I've streamed other games on Zim's channel.
Play DMC4 Moai.
You know this. Play DMC4. That was actually one of the things I was doing, was playing a bunch of the DMC games. I did an entire run-through of Dark Souls 2. There's no way you guys didn't see that. I did GoldenEye. I did Perfect Dark.
Every game
Oh, news apparently.
asterisk, but yes. Moai.
So, Balrog, have you been playing in the Lewis Cup for Master Duel?
No. Between the 2 streams I do a week, I've been trying to finish off the editing, which is taking me a very long time. But I'm very happy to basically say that the audio is done. It's now just pure editing.
Okay, probably best to keep working on that, because that event is not fun. It is genuine hell and garbage. I don't know if I've told you this before, but I think Konami has programmed certain cards with, like, high rarities to show up, like, more consistently in the game than they're supposed to in your opening hands. Because, like, I play, I want to say, like, 20, 30 rounds with, like, going first decks. With, like, some opening back row, and I want to say up to a dozen to 15 or so hands that I opened, about 90% of them, my opponent, when they went second, they opened Harpy's Feather Duster.
Productive. I don't want them.
And I'm like,
Seeking ways to amuse.
that shouldn't be mathematically possible. Especially since some of those were actually 45 to 60 card decks.
And you will learn the cost of your trespass.
I didn't think it was possible, but like I've been Harpy's Feather Dustered almost a dozen times in a single day.
Christ.
You cannot match my skill.
Yeah, no, I was genuinely like, man,
Resisted.
now I remember why this card was banned. Now let's get back to the
Fight for me.
Battle of Mordor. Hit a war. Oh. I see a lizard man? What the hell was I looking at there?
Ruth, I did see you play Dark Souls. Do I remember Zim not being able to summon you, Lord? Where is the Zim?
I really understand how the RE Studios being so cheap with the voice actor. Like, the reason they didn't bring back Chris, Leon, Ada, and Claire is because they're union VAs. Yeah, I did see you play Dark Souls. I remember you're having almost summer you. Yep. Good times. I think you bought the DS2 Scholars. Which I would have played with you if I had, had a build at that time, but, I'll probably build, like, a new character, to be honest, at some point. Maybe we can play together. I'm gonna have to do taxes this weekend. That's gonna be so much fun.
Your lack of conviction Makes you weak.
Where's the Zim? He's come on.
He's in the call, he's just muted himself because he's doing, I don't know, Zim things.
No, I don't think he's in the call. I don't see him in there.
Is in the shadow
Oh, well, then he's
behind.
left.
Servant of the Dark Lord will not fall so easily.
Zim is in the Shadow Dimension. I believe we refer to that as the Shadow Realm. He must have lost a guard card, or he must have lost a duel with his god cards and got sent there. He'll be back probably in an hour then. That's usually the time it takes to get out of the Shadow Realm. Their transit is pretty bad.
I still can't believe the Shiza came to Master Duel so early. Only reason why I stopped playing.
I just realized there was very Uncharted-esque climbing going on right there.
You think
What in the hell is happening here? Did you clone yourself? Like, what's...
I can make multiple raves on top of slowing down time.
I was gonna say, like, are they after images? Are they actual full bodies? Like, I don't understand what's going on.
I am your chosen master. My body for yours.
Become one of the brave followers.
You know what they
It'd
always
be kind of
say?
funny if you had actually played Fallout New Vegas, because then you'd be able to make the, like, Jason Bright memes whenever you turn your orcs.
Yes.
Demon knows what I'm talking about. Except they don't turn green, I guess. Well, actually, some of them are already green, so I guess that counts. I think I believe if she's came to Master Duel so early, only reason why I stopped playing.
I play in New Vegas.
I mean, I just played. I'm playing the event players for now, but once it ends, I'm gonna wait for a little bit, do some ranked, just basically build up some gems until we get the next structure deck or whatever. Maybe. If not then I'll invest in a new deck.
Vegas.
Well, excitingly for me, I got the infamous one
never got into
guidebook,
Fallout.
so now I can have my full complete research.
Bother that boss with your nonsense, you little whinger.
How much would you hate me if I said I didn't complete Infamous 1?
Well, I got work, so I see you when
I'd
you
be more
fall.
offended if you beat 2, but didn't beat 1.
Broken rib, I think. But what I wanted to tell you is, the fort is being attacked. The Dark Lord knows
How
you're here.
offended would you be if I beat 2, but I didn't do 1?
I'd be very offended because 1's infinitely better.
And our defenders. Bruce,
Okay,
prepare to defend the
I'll just
fort.
leave it at that.
That sounds like a job for Overlord What's His Name, seeing as how I was passed over for that position.
You will do as
That's
you
my
are
dog
told.
barking.
Come on, right, fella.
That's too
Just
annoying.
having a laugh. You know how I love snapping off heads.
I have to sleep.
I'll defend the fort like it was my own.
I'll help with the defense as well. I'll start with the food in the pantry. Make sure it hasn't been poisoned.
Well, from reading the guidebooks, I can tell you I know how Infamous's time travel works.
All these globs around, and I have to square off against you. Great.
Ah yes, Zuko the Swift. This man better be the fastest thing I've ever seen. Otherwise, false advertising. New Vegas. I also play non-New Vegas. I gotta work so I see you when I'm free. Have a good day. How do I get into follow? Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's a very long investment of fun gameplay, silly mechanics, and lots of cocaine. Because even if you're not actually taking real cocaine, the gameplay experience makes you feel like you're on cocaine.
So just out of curiosity on the stuff I found for Infamous, for that thing I found for the Beast, I should be able to present that to Cyber when we eventually fight over Alex vs. Cole, because I know that's eventual.
I'm sorry, you cut out for part of that?
So, when it comes to the stuff I found for Infamous, I can present what I found for the Beast and basically shove that up Cyber's ass and basically tell him that he's got nothing.
I mean, yeah. I think that's less of the nail in the coffin you think, and it's more just like Alex's arsenal and his physiology.
Yeah, but I don't trust G1 to do a good job for Alex.
It's man flesh.
I mean, how difficult is it to just read a couple fucking scans?
You would be... When they wanted... Come on, you saw what they did. Okay. Devil May Cry. If they really wanted to, like, fuck a verse over, they absolutely can, will, and have.
Oh yeah, there's supposedly at some point going to be the Ozra versus Kratos. So that's going to be interesting.
Well, actually, that'll give us something to talk about at the moment. What do you think they're going to bring with no author statements? Because that kind of, like, hurts them just as much, because they can't be riding on, like, getting rid of the author statements means they're still separated by universes, because the secret treasures still exist, and the context of the story.
So the problem here is for them is that they would have to prove without that. I don't know if they want to go for a universal interpretation.
Well, they have to at least do that.
They might take the position that without word of God, Uni is certainly dead, so they will always be able to assume it. They might take the casual interpretation of God of War power scaling, which is, well, if we remove God of War, if we remove Word of God, Uni God of War is valid.
Well, I don't even think they can do that.
No, like you don't even get that. Like you're in the same position you had before.
Well, here's the thing, like, they have to try and bring something to the table for Universal, otherwise they've got nothing for Kratos to stand up against Astra.
Because if you can't do the Universal stuff, you can't find arguments for infinite speed Kratos, and you need infinite speed Kratos to argue, because you can't argue against infinite speed Azura. It's literally stated that the pillars of Naraka are endless, and he runs out of them more than one time with raw speed. He just runs up the side of them like he's a blatant infinite speed cheat, whereas Kratos has scaling to people who do it, which is fine, but the problem is that how it's acquired is via like gameplay with the Hail of Helios. A better argument is Atropos, but nobody actually knows how to argue
that's the problem, is that
with me, so they're not going to argue that.
But that disappears because that comes from one, it's gameplay, it's randomized, and it's not as solid as people like to think it is who use that argument. But even so, because they're getting rid of.
The thing is, who's novel, but that wouldn't matter either way.
We will slaughter them.
Well, it still wouldn't matter because people take the Twitter statement confirmation for the head of Helios.
Yeah, oh wait, that's right.
So that means Kratos might get maybe generic light speed, depending on how liberal you want to be with him blocking Helios' blast, which I still think is not particularly valid.
Yeah, that's not really. I wouldn't say that's really valid because when you see him get activated on him, he gets flashbanged by it. We see it hit him. It's just that he pulls himself back a little bit. And like when he's getting hit by it, you literally see like what he's doing is that he's turning himself away and using his hands to cover the light so he doesn't have to see it directly. I'm like, bro, feel the power of the sun more like just close your eyes to the flashbang and it goes away.
The poison practically drips off my weapon. If you hadn't come along,
I think Azura is we're probably gonna find some way to argue against like Uni Azura.
Oh, that has
even if they do, it's not really gonna matter because even the most basic interpretations of the Zora put him like in solar system ranges. Because the Chakravartin boss fight shits on the idea of just a planetary Azura, aside from the fact that he's literally as large as the fucking planet. Azura, like, Chakravartin literally throws, like, blue suns at him, and, like, entire constellations of, like, you know, their collection of stars.
Oh, yeah.
And he has, like, an entire event horizon.
I guarantee you, I can already kind of sense what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, well, doesn't Chakravartin make universes? Well, no, it's only stated that he creates worlds. And if we take, from what we know about Mantra, then worlds would just be planet.
I hated that argument because it's the stupidest thing in the context of the game, because they literally have a fight outside the world, and he's literally able to, or his mantra and the cycle of mantra isn't even relegated to the planet, because the 8 deity generals or whatever are really able to leave the planet with their powers and still use them. So you can't even argue that, even if the planet is the focus of the story.
It's going to be quite interesting because if they bring up any fake scans, we'll fucking know. We've got an entire library of the fucking things.
Oh yeah. I just want to be sure for what they're going to mention for why they're not including Word of God. That's going to be the kicker.
I guarantee you, it's not because they want to be genuine or fair. It's for two things. One, so they don't have the God of War community get on their ass for this, and two, they've probably found what you found.
Well, wait a minute. What was the God of War community on their ass about that?
The pure fact, even without author statements, they're still going to argue for like, no, they should still be in the multi-plus ranges.
Oh wait, you're saying that like they might be more willing, they would be more comfortable arguing multi-plus rather than infinite because of statements from the authors of like the universe being made or stuff like that. Like
I'm saying that the God of War community as a versus community would get the shits if they brought up everything said by the authors and then it's just like, yeah, this doesn't mean what you think it means.
Yes. I think it's mainly because they just don't want to have to. They're not prepared to deal with that conversation.
No, and even without all the statements, while that does make it less hard for them to swallow, they're still not gonna like if Kratos isn't put at Universal.
I mean, you know what? I'll just be flat out honest. Like, after the last one, I'm not really comfortable with doing like a live reaction to G1 because like I don't really like it when like I have to directly like explain my positions either when like over the course of like a 5-hour stream. I think I'll just send my general thoughts of things and send a list of that stuff. As then wants to make a small low edits video on it, that we can make it like 30 or 40 minutes. That'll be my take. But honestly, if you thought Kratos was uni without Word of God, well, as Pariah claimed in the comment section, I believe a couple months ago, you were legitimately Arkham Asylum tier.
Well, it actually hurts even more because now we have all of these statements. Now we have to recontextualize everything we know about every fate in the series, and now we legitimately have to ask the question. We put him at country level to be safe, arguing he was the highest interpretation we can. Now we have to actually go through it and be like, shit, does he actually sit there? Because I reckon if you start counting his actual feats, I reckon it's going to get pretty fucking poor.
Yes. I reckon he got stabbed. I'm not paying attention to what's going to happen. Wait, did you just get betrayed?
Yeah, it's part of the story.
Treason! We will retake
our so you were the one that just got stabbed?
Yeah.
Olog and all who stand with him.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
The ones who stand with us. Clearly their loyalty cannot be trusted.
All who resist will be made an
They
example.
just get stabbed and chucked off the side of the fortress, and you're like, yeah, whatever, treason. Let's go get him. Like, you're not gonna heal your wounds?
Oh no, so the way he heals is by respawning. So the way his immortality works is you can be killed and the orcs will usually like eat your body or decorate it or do something, and you'll come back later because you're banished from death.
When death is not allowed to have you.
Yeah, as in like I can die as many times as I want, and canonically I will just come back like a couple of days later. And as long as Celebrimbor or like the soul controlling isn't destroyed, I'm perfectly fine.
I was also gonna say, speaking of death, I actually found out in that same Doom comic that Mephisto is basically fucked by Mr. Seth. So when Doom has, remember when I mentioned that he had like an alert level put out on all of his fucking like the entire like international community, like Magical and everything, like once those missiles were fired, because everyone assumed he was responsible for it because the missiles were fired from Lamberia, right?
Right.
So obviously you had every single like B-list like character in comics showing up to fight him, And eventually there's a point where he makes contact with Morgan Le Fay, and he gets sent to a, basically this elevator to meet this guy, I think called, it's like the mystery of the answer or something like that, which can basically read your future. And when the guy's reading his future, someone headshots Doom, literally kills him with a normal rifle and sends him to hell, and you realize it's Taskmaster, who's been hired by Advanced Idea Mechanics to, like, basically take his life. And then Doom gets sent to hell, gets this brand new, crazy-looking armor, meets Mephisto and is like, man, I wasn't supposed to be here, like, that's what they all say. But now you're finally here, and mine forever. And he's like, well, I want to leave here. And it's like, well, you can leave if you convinced the girl, the woman that you loved, if you convinced her that you're worthy, I'll let you leave. And he basically has to convince this woman that as a child, she was basically his first love and his first girlfriend, that he sold her soul to Mephisto, or to hell, in order to gain power over sorcery. And he has to convince her, in order to leave hell, he has to convince her that he's worthy. Like she's been down here suffering in hell all these decades.
Gund.
And then after a while, after Mephisto just tortures... Wait, what?
That sounds like a pretty tall order.
Oh, yeah. Well, after Mephisto just kind of messes around with him, making some antidotes, some bodies, he eventually gets pissed off and he just starts brawling with Mephisto. They just start, like, having, like, a hobo street fight where they're just, like, tackling each other in a field of bones. And then Mistress Death shows up and is like, enough of this. Here's my ward and I will see him well. It's like Mistress Death, and then, yeah, Mephisto just kind of, like, takes a knee. It's like, quit fighting Mephisto unless you wish to see the nothingness of the void. I'm like, bro, the pecking order has arrived. Then Mr. Death also confirms that apparently, like, she's not coming there to save Death. She's not coming there to save Doom. She's just merely providing for a servant who will eventually become one of her greatest servants. I didn't really understand what she said until the end of the comic when he fucking wipes out an entire universe, including his entire family and his kids, just because somebody boosts his ego. Little petty. But he certainly wouldn't be the first person to have done so. Oh god, that was such a funny movie.
I am not with that ranger.
Fucking, you ever seen Bullet Train?
Yes, loved it.
God, that was a movie. Oh, that's a movie, as they say. That's gonna be one of Brad Pitt's, like, better roles.
Oh yeah, it was pretty fucking good.
Guess that's it then. You can get back to your warmongering and, I'll... Hello.
We are not done here. Bruce.
Oh, right, Bruce. In his fortress. Oh, your fortress. Had a lot of owners, that fortress. Oh, and the fortress was mine. It's a wee bit drafty, but oh, the views. I made a lot of improvements to that place.
Like your tunnel.
Yeah, I had an escape tunnel. Smart thinking, I thought. You know, great if you need to get out.
We could use that.
Oh, we don't need to get out.
Speaking of God of War,
Back in.
that reminded me,
Where is this tunnel?
when I was going through the script, I had to,
This way. I'm pretty sure.
I remember that I had to go back and explain, you know, for one of the misconception sections, like, why the realms of the Norse pantheon aren't, like, separated by, time. Right, and obviously one of the problems I run into that is people are like, well, look at Mimir's statements, right? Because Mimir says, like, I'm going to move the same between the realms.
Bring him here
And then
for some kind of reason.
some of what I thought was funny, but for like the entire section, I basically had to take the Yggdrasil video where Freya gives her explanation and use it 3 different times because I had to explain the Yggdrasil, I had to explain how the realms were separated, and I had to explain how they share the same physical space. And all of them were looking at the Freya video. So it's just like, well, Freya says this, and then I get to the next script, I'm like, well, Freya once again will be useful. And then I get to the next section, I'm like, for the third and final time, Freya will be used again. I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but I cannot speak for that.
I know everyone is basically like, but look at 20, look at World War 4, it's like, yeah. But then watch Ragnarok completely and utterly shit all over everything you previously knew.
So the problem is that Freya says verbatim that all the realms share the same space, reflections of one another, they exist in the same physical space, reflections of one are intertwined and coexisting on the branches of the world tree, separated only by the Bifrost light of Alfheim. And I'm like, wait a minute, if they're separated by the Bifrost light of Alfheim, then that means 2 things. One, the reason the realms are not inaccessible is because people can't travel between the realms because it's not safe to do so. The Bifrost light of Alfheim has the ability to incinerate you on the spot. And if you're prolonged in it or in it for a long length of time, then you seem to have the impression that it will drive you mad. Or at bare minimum, it will return you to the Lake of Nine, or if you remove your soul. So, we now have an actual hazardous reason why you would never want to touch or make physical contact with the Light of Alfheim. Because the Light of Alfheim is essentially physically separating all these areas. And when he used Matt Stoffels' statements where he was asked if you could walk the Egyptian version of Alfheim, he says, I guess theoretically you could, because all the realms exist in the same physical space, I established. And I'm like, well, if that's true, then that means the reason people aren't doing it is because of the Light of Alfheim. Because they just get incinerated on the spot if they make contact with it. And that's the first part of it. The second part is the fact that Mimir's statement references why the flow of time, or that the flow of time feels faster in the Lake of Nine than it does in Alfheim time. I'm like, and I'm just like, Mimir, that's because the Light of Alfheim, those who are in the light actually experience time differently. Because Kratos was in there for like, I want to say like, I think from like a couple hours to a fucking day. And Atreus was out there, or at least he was in there for a couple minutes. From Atreus' perspective, it was anywhere from a couple hours to like an entire night. And I'm like, okay, so that proves it then. Like, the entire reason that the realms experience different flows of time is because the Alpine light is basically serving as a dilation device. That since it separates the realms, when time flows to the realms, it's being parsed by the Bifrost light, or by the Light of Alfheim, which is causing an experience of different flows of time, but the actual flow of time is not different. People who are in the realms are experiencing the effects of it. So you basically have what is essentially a time zone being experienced in each of the realms. A glorified time zone. While being the same physical space. And you can cross this thing that's causing the time zone, as I mentioned, because A, it will incinerate you, or B, drive you insane, or C, like, you know, merge your soul with the fucking afterlife. So, I'm not exactly sure that Ragnarok needed to clarify anything. I think God of War 4 makes it pretty fucking clear what will happen to you. You try to physically travel between the realms. That's not to say you can't physically travel between realms. You can. There's just not have explanations on why people don't. Other than the fact that, obviously, why would I walk to work when I can take a teleporter there? So, something else I pointed out in the script is just like, why would you, like, the main point is if someone wanted to say, like, well, we've never seen anyone physically travel between the realms, it's like, that's because they never have any reason to. Why would you physically walk somewhere whether it be a country, especially if you believe these places are universes. If you believe these are universes, you put a massive crack in your argument, because now you have to explain why the fuck somebody would physically walk across the universe if they knew they could just teleport.
Oh,
Could they physically walk there?
If it wasn't
That makes no sense.
if it wasn't for the fact that the goodwill of the God of War directors is gone, I just for a little joke, I was thinking of asking Bruno, would Kratos and Mimir, would they take a boat, or would they rather walk to Egypt for that holiday that they talk about?
Wait, why is the right half of your body, the left half of your body turned white?
Because that's technically the part that Caliburn War is controlling.
You're being controlled?
Well, I'm technically being haunted.
Man, that ghost must have anger issues.
Oh yeah, he's not particularly happy. He is not a happy boy.
I also found another way to actually phrase the Yggdrasil statements, which is kind of funny. So, I mentioned how a lot of people seem to have this misunderstanding of the Yggdrasil statements of transcending space and time. And I pointed out that what Freya's statements explains that the Yggdrasil transcending space and time is referring to it having basically, that it supports life, death, birth, and rebirth. That every strand transcending time, transcending space, everything returns back to the tree. Everything comes back to the tree. This is how it works. And I'm like, okay, so that has nothing to do with any sort of dimensional or superiority relationship. It's literally just her referring to the fact that all properties and things that are created by the tree return to the tree when they die. Which is pointed out by her previous sentence, where she points out that the dew from the Yggdrasil feeds the soil, the rivers and valleys, and basically supports all of creation, or at least what she interprets to be creation, along with burrows. And I'm like, yeah. So everything just exists on top of the Yggdrasil, and the Yggdrasil just like fuels the life force of everything in there. It even says it's a life force is interwoven in the tapestry of life. I'm like, okay then, so the transcending time space thing has nothing to do with the actual time and space there. It's referring to a length of time and distance. Like, no matter how far, no matter how much distance you put between yourself and the Yggdrasil, no matter how much time it's been since you die or whatever, all things will return to the Yggdrasil when they die. That's how I interpreted it, because she literally says in the next sentence, everything comes back to the Yggdrasil. This is how it works. It's like, oh. Also, it has nothing to do with a dimensional space then.
Well, it's also one of those things where it's just like, that statement from Ratatoskik, like, fucking kills, like, everything as well. When he's just like,
again, I'm not even using stuff from Ragnarok. I'm just using stuff from 4.
So are you...
We haven't even gotten into Ragnarok's, like... Well, okay, I'm in the Ragnarok section, but what I was talking about in the section I'm referring to was not using Ragnarok scans. That was without Ragnarok scans. You have the Ragnarok scans, oh baby. Oh baby. The comparison is it's a lot heavier.
Look, when people realize that Kratos went from being multi-galaxy, and then he just got dropped down, and it's just like, how does it feel knowing that Kratos now loses to practically everyone in Naruto?
Faced countless rangers in my time, and I've slaughtered them all.
Well,
You can see all the
technically,
corpses
depending on who you ask, Kratos might lose to some
Rangers must die.
fucking people in our world.
Instruments of their destruction.
Or some things in our world.
Screaming.
Weirdly enough.
It.
a minute. Is it possible for me to... Well, no. No. As I say, if people wank the Divine Dragon enough, I might be able to argue Sekiro from Shadows Die Twice can beat him now.
At some point, even for like a casual playthrough, I might just re-go back through God of War, because I've got that HD collection and all that on the PlayStation 3. And I'll just see like where he may or may not end up now with the context.
We'll definitely enjoy combat, probably.
Fair enough.
Man, like, I do not have high hopes. Like, I'm...
Far too many orcs to handle alone. Let's each take a flank in
It's not going to be good.
We must be careful.
That's for sure.
But it'll be interesting to see what the G1 blog takes out of context to try and get him as high as humanly possible. Because they're going to have to. If they don't, then there is no other clear way of them to basically say that they're like, Starcraft would like kick his ass.
I definitely want to see them talk about Kratos' quote-unquote immortality.
I thought you were going to say
that's going to be beautiful.
I thought you were going to say resistances then.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought you were going to say resistances.
No. He doesn't have those. When it comes to immortality, he's been stated to be immortal, like, multiple times. But then the problem is that the game shows that he can die to pretty much anything. And it's like, well, I think if we're to take this, if we're to interpret this as the writers wanted to, or as the information the series is presented, he's only immortal in the sense that he'll live pretty much forever. And
yeah, he's the same.
If he tries to kill himself, it doesn't work. Because it's like a curse.
Wasn't that also shown in the Fallen Gods comic?
Yes, the Fallen Gods comic actually references a lot of the ideas that they were going with. Corey was the first one who kind of like mentioned this, that he's cursed to walk the dead forever. He's immortal. He can't, no matter what he does, he can't die. And the Fallen Gods comic literally says, if I'm cursed to live like the Undying, whatever, just like do this. He basically screams about like the fact that he's like basically cursed to walk the dead forever, and then he says like, at least let me be rid of you, and he throws away the blades of chaos. And a lot of people have taken those statements to mean that like, well, if he's immortal, then obviously, I mean, he can't die under normal circumstances. It's like, well, it kind of depends on what you mean by immortality. Because the only immortality that we can confirm that he has is the fact that time affects him and the gods and titans differently. Like, they don't age normally, so they're probably a type 1 immortality because they probably live normally. Or, I guess, not normally. Whereas... No. And here's the kicker, right? This is something I mentioned to them, but Azura technically actually has, I think, at least one, if not 2 types of immortality negation. Because he actually has to kill, what's his name, Vitra? You know what I'm talking about, like the fire monster inside the earth. Azura's Wrath.
Yeah, well, he kills Vitra, but he also kills the other gods. And this is explicitly shown with Yasha.
Well, so what I'm referring to is the fact that, like, Vitra, it's confirmed that he kills Vitra, and Vitra is always supposed to resurrect regardless. Like, he's killed Vitra before, and it hasn't actually stopped him. But when he kills him after the final time skip, when Vitra finally comes back, it's confirmed he kills Vitra permanently, and that's before Chakravartin removes the cycle. Because keep in mind, Chakravartin fights them. I think he knocks them off the station, right? They fall back to the Earth with Yasha after he takes Azura's daughter, right? And the rest of the Mantra are still there. But Vitra's already dead.
Well,
like, he already killed Vitra.
Well, that was the entire point of making the, I'm trying to remember what it was called, the Bar Mitzvah?
Yeah, but that would mean technically he has type 8 immortality, because keep in mind, how Vitra's immortality works is that he will always come back as long as the planet exists. But it's confirmed that they killed him permanently here, and the problem is that if they did that without the planet going, that means they got rid of that fucking part of his physiology. They completely removed him. They also technically used Type 4. But the point is that is supposedly the immortality that VSB claims Kratos has. It's like, bro, if Azura can just negate it, we just fight you.
Well, me and Tim were talking about this earlier. There is a good possibility that, like, even if you didn't want to argue for an AP Stomp, you could just argue for a fucking ranged assault.
I mean, we're not even considering the fucking fact that, I'm tired. We're not even considering the fact that, like, technically speaking, he has just way better resistances in general. And his resistance to most stuff that Chakravartin brings to the table is probably better than what Kratos is.
So do you think that equalizes out? Do you think they're just going to say Ashura doesn't get his Ashura the Destroyer form?
Sorry, what did you say? I fell asleep there.
So, do you think they're trying to equalize this out for the both of them? Do you think they're just going to be like, yeah, Ashura doesn't get his Ashura the Destroyer form, where he basically dwarfs the fucking planet?
Well, so you're asking me if they would think to even the playing field by removing a giant glorified Titan mode, as if that would somehow change things? I mean, I guess. I don't know if they would do restrictions, so they're kind of weird about those things.
Because I'm very curious to see what they bring to the table for speed, because without the author statements, you've got nothing for Kratos. Like, I think maybe one of the CGI cutscene, like one of the CGI trailers, he dodges Zeus's lightning, but other than that, I don't think he has anything that's like all that impressive.
I mean, you've got baseline speed of light stuff, but that's pretty much it. Whereas, like, in the beginning, literally the first scene of Azura's Wrath, you're literally flying around the outer atmosphere.
Just does a number on me. Stop sweating and it doesn't stop till I leave. I see the ranger.
Well, I'm kind of tired.
You want to go to bed?
I would say too.
It's plundered over here. Eat this. Let's go.
Skywalker, you know what I like about you? Coming into a death camp alone.
That's a funny one. That's a funny one.
Consistently stupid, maybe,
I don't know if you saw the little meme combo with like fucking Wendy's that Zara put in there.
No, I haven't.
I think there's some guy on Twitter that was getting really upset about Wendy's food or whatever, and he's like, your beef is frozen, we all know it. You all know the line of your slogan, fresh never frozen, right? Like you're really a joke. And Wendy's is like, sorry to hear you think that, but you're wrong, we've only used fresh beef since we founded in 1969. He's like, so you deliver it raw on a hot truck. And Wendy's is like, where do you throw cold things that aren't frozen? It's like, you all should give up. McDonald's got you guys beat with the dope-ass breakfast. He's like, you don't have to bring me into this just because you forgot refrigerators existed for a second there.
What's that middle bit between frozen and unfrozen?
What does that really mean? Oh. I love how he went to McDonald's with the dope ass breakfast. Like what? What's this segue?
They have the dope ass breakfast. It's like, what? The bacon and egg McMuffin that you can make at home, or the pancakes that like taste mediocre and dry on their own, and they're only good because of their whipped butter and custom fucking like syrup.
This is literally, let's be honest, the main thing that McDonald's had going for it was its french fries and milkshakes. Nuggets were decent, but its milkshakes were god tier. And its french fries were pretty good. Those are the things that they were known for. Because they had like 2 out of the 3 like iconic like American like fast food, 1960s like diner joint setup, which is steaks and fries. The main thing they were missing was good burgers. If they had good burgers at McDonald's, they'd be killed. Well, to be fair, they're still killing it because they have 2 of the 3 items. But yeah, what a dumb point to have to celebrate. Like, I'm pretty sure many people were ever celebrating like the breakfast at McDonald's concept idea were like fucking stoners. Because there are too many people that are willing to eat there at like this period of time in the morning and not care about the quality of food because they're stoned.
Well, like, here's the thing, I've even tested this out, like I got, pancakes from the shop that you can get from the packet, and I just kept McDonald's, like, whipped butter and the maple syrup, and it's literally the only 2 things you need.
Nice. I haven't actually gone to a breakfast McDonald's in a really long time.
It's one of those breakfasts where if you have any of the McDonald's breakfasts, in terms of calorie count, you're pretty much done for the day.
Yeah. So it's not stopping me anytime soon.
It's not stopping anyone, but it's just like, if you're ever health conscious, it's one of those meals that you would just never touch if you wanted to have even a semblance of health.
How do you take people that have extraordinarily extraordinarily fast metabolism?
So this is where, I have a friend who has a high metabolism, and this is where they get a little bit confused. They think because they can burn it off that there's no damage. You still get the damage, you just don't get any of the weight.
Well, so what I mean by that is that I still have to exercise, I still do stretching, still breathing exercises, cardio, whatever. My main point is that, like, yeah, I don't really develop fat.
Yeah, you can still, like, get to a point where you're extremely unhealthy, because there's a thing called, there was a medical show I was watching, and it was something like skinny fat, where they did an autopsy on somebody who had, I don't remember if it was an autopsy or like a fat count of somebody who was fat compared to somebody who had a fast metabolism, and the person who had a fast metabolism had worse organs and surprisingly had like more like a worse fatty liver and all that. It was actually really fascinating.
Probably didn't exercise.
Probably not, but like let's be very clear. For the most part, most people who have a fast metabolism, they know they have it, so they don't see the point unless they like it.
What, suffering?
No, like if they have a fast metabolism, they're just not gonna fucking exercise. There's no point to it.
I mean, you kind of still have to, because
No, I'm saying from
exercise, and I've definitely hit some atrophy.
Yeah, but I'm talking from like their perspective.
Oh, yeah. I guess so. Oh, yeah. No, I definitely have to hit some sleep now. We're coming.
Very well then. I'll let you go to bed, and then after I do this mission, I'm probably gonna get off and continue editing.
Yeah. It's like 2:46.
Well, very well. Good night, Mangor. I'll talk to you later when you are very much less tired.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I seem to have lost my entire audience, or they're just not speaking at the moment. Anyway, after this mission I need to go back to editing because, fuck me, the grind never ends.
Die! Had to hurt that! Get back here! Kneel before me! So easily defeated!
Very good.
You're injured.
It's nothing. You saved us. Again.
You're right. Staying in Mordor is certain doom. But I cannot leave.
My lady. Then we will be doomed. Together.
Well, that seems extremely dumb. Well, that was pretty dumb, and I need to get the thing. So thank you all for joining us for the Shadow of War stream. We'll be cutting it off here early. As I said, I need to get a few things done. So we'll see you all next time for when Sim and I either do Resident Evil Revelations 2 or I do Blood Dragon. And the Friday after, we'll be continuing going through Shadow of War. Thank you everyone. Have a lovely night.